I did a good job.
Running out, laying on the floor. Heart is pounding. What is next? Blurry visions.
Panic.
Panic,
The first song on the album, and
written
one
in 2004,
was it 2004? I thought it was a little earlier than that. It was like one of the first-
2003.
It might have, yeah. I want to say it was 2003 because that's when we had it. What was it? First, it was like what was the Return of Rock?
No, it was called something else before that, wasn't it? I don't know.
The earliest one I remember is the Return of Rock.
It's a 21-year-old track.
When we were
Retooled
sitting
to
there
sound good.
talking about basically making fun of how all the stupid rappers and shit were talking about their bitches, hoes, and shiny things.
And now we all like those rappers.
And then it became Blackout shortly after because
Yeah,
we
that was about
decided
you getting drunk.
it was because it was in the heyday of the drinking and it very I mean, it was a fun song, but the lyrics would not have survived today. So, in essence, I mean, the music has stayed the same since back then, but the lyrics have changed a number of times over the years until it finally came to this version you hear, the official version.
Where I slap at the bass.
Which is called Panic, where Sean slap at the bass.
I did a good job.
The song
It's
is
about what happened when I saw Eric without hair for the first time.
oh
I
yeah,
totally panicked.
it's about what do you call it? Panic. It's pretty self-explanatory, you know, panic attacks and stuff, and that anxious, feeling anxious. You know, it's pretty straightforward. You know, I mean, I've dealt with my anxiety issues over the years and panic attacks, and it just felt like, you know, part of this journey of the album 75 Days, which has kind of an overarching story. So you could kind of call it a concept album. You know, each track kind of dealing with a different feeling in a sense. But Panic being a big one with that 75
Panic.
days journey.
No rewind. Time keeps flowing. Different lives, and a heart that is forever broken.
Life of Illusion.
Yes.
This song took
Oh,
a few
magic.
forms over the years. I mean, the music itself has pretty much stayed the same since 2003, 2004.
Actually, no. The middle section was
The middle
completely
section, like
changed.
the rhythm section, was completely there still. I have
Yeah.
the old Drader version, like the rhythm of it is still there. The guitar solo that I threw on there, that's a fairly new addition, but
Yeah.
the basic structure of the song has been sitting around since 2003, 2004.
And again, slapping the bass there.
Again, different lyrics over the time. I believe it was called A New Day at one point.
Yes.
It was called Memories and Regrets at another point. We even did another version of it called like Prison Bitch, I believe, when we wrote it about my fucking asshole neighbor that called
yes,
cops on us.
Yeah. And then what's really interesting about this one is I don't even remember if you remember what the I don't even know if you remember what the inspiration of it was. I did a good job. But I actually remember the inspiration because when I was trying to learn it on guitar, you said, "Oh, like Mudvayne." The whole entire intro, that
Yeah.
was-
It was kind of rooted in Mudvayne. A lot of what you hear, what Shaw did on the bass, a lot of the popping and slapping, very Mudvayne esque there.
I was when we wrote the song, I was heavily into Mudvayne, and the bass player Ryan was.
Oh, Ryan's still a fantastic bass player to this day.
Well, yeah,
Still
but
one of my favorites.
I was very heavily into him. Now I'm more into Les
Other
Claypool.
dudes. But yeah, you know, as far as lyrically, this one took many shapes over the years. This one ended up being, you know, kind of a song about like, is this really my life? Like, this is the illusion of my life that I'm trapped in.
Yeah.
You know, kind of not being able to move on,
Is
being
it real?
constantly reminded of all this trauma until you get to a point of like, is this really even real? Like, something's got to give. What the fuck? Like, I'm trapped in this never ending
Life of illusion?
illusion.
I did it.
You did it.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, that's actually this song is when when I was writing the bass line for it back 20 some odd years ago, I realized that the dan ta ta dan ta dan ta dan, nothing worked on the bass except for slapping, and I learned how to slap for the song.
And it's the only thing that actually ever worked there. And
I know, because that's
you
what it
can
needed.
hear how cool it sounds on the album.
Yeah, 75 days, you could get it anywhere
Yes.
except for Walmart.
Well, for now, until, you know, one day maybe we'll be Walmart famous.
Running by the song of the siren, hoping for hope instead of heeding the warning. The illusion of what I need until the fencing can to reveal the night.
Siren. This
Not about an
song-
ambulance.
Yeah, it's about ambulances. No,
Wii,
not
it's
really.
about Wii U's.
So like this song, basically it has not changed since I wrote it. Back in 2004, 2005. This one has been sitting around.
Speaking of
in-
sirens, did you just hear that?
I did not. Our viewers that are watching
We
this.
were talking about it, and a police car just drove by, and Elisa started laughing.
So
With
yeah,
the
I mean,
siren going.
this one has been sitting around in its like the music has been sitting around in the form you hear on the album since about 2004, 2005.
Yeah. But
Lyrically,
you know what's funny? The first time I actually heard it was when you showed it to me here. You never showed it to us.
no, I don't think I
If
did.
you did, I think you showed me a riff of it, maybe.
Yeah, you probably saw a little bit of it, but this one like never made it into any of the old incarnations of the band.
Yeah.
So, lyrically, I mean, this one's taken a couple of forms over. It was two different versions of it. One it used to be called "Chained by Destiny,"
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
and that one just kind of the idea was like whatever. It doesn't matter because it sucked. So it transformed into another song called LD50, which was kind of like a little bit of a tribute to Mudvayne, but lyrically talking about like how much of this shit can I take before it fucking kills me. That was
Yeah.
the whole thought process of it, you know, because LD50 is the medium lethal dose of any given substance. So I thought it was a cool title. But then, you know, going on this journey of 75 days, Siren came about, which, you know, anyone that knows anything about Greek mythology knows about the sirens, you know, the beautiful voices and beautiful women that lured ships and sailors to their death.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a metaphor I used in this as, you know, like being blinded by like this, being lured and blinded by this beautiful thing you think you want, and then you get there and it's just
me.
yes, Sean. It's like you get lured in by this beautiful thing or, you know, beautiful sight, and it just fucking kills you, or, you know.
13 crimes of blood and this scene is over. It's your actions that pulled the trigger. Confrontation you took till I'm away. You never wanted my soul for its
13 grams.
Yeah, 13 grams, the song that I made better. I did a good job.
Yes, Sean's leads really brought this song to a different level because
And it was a complete accident. I did a good job.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
was,
funny part.
that's what happens. Like you hear the skeleton of it, which
Yep.
the skeleton of this song has been sitting around in its final form since probably 2004, 2005 as well. This one never made it into any of the previous incarnations of the band, and I think, I mean, I guess the same idea lyrically is still present. Um, I mean, it used to be called "Taste of a Bullet," but I thought
Ah,
it was
yes.
a little too blatant, so uh, rewrote the words. And 13 grams sounded a little better. It's also the standard 200 grain 40 cal round. That's how much it's 13 grams. So, it still deals with the bullet in a sense.
Oh, I see what you did there.
So, yeah.
Oh, look at you, sneaky.
It was kind of like a metaphorical bullet in the head that killed, the conversation or killed the topic, not seeing eye to eye about things, like lyrically, it's just, it's pretty straightforward to me. Musically, on the other hand, like while the bass skeleton was there, all like the extra leads you hear over the top of things that really bring life and lift everything up. Sean did that kind of on the spot, and Miss P decided to come for a visit.
And the solo at the end, which I think sucks, Eric absolutely loved.
It fits the song. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the way this one got structured was solo fading out the song with this like kind of my thought was like a fade to black or I can't.
That's definitely not a Fade to Black solo, but
No, but you know what I mean, like how the
Yeah.
end of Fade to Black was
Yeah.
solo carrying out the song until it faded out. That was what I heard when
Mhm.
when we were doing this, and it came out really great.
Should make it right the time we've wasted. We should be as one, connect, grow stronger.
Unrequited.
Unrequited.
Yes.
This was one of the first songs we ever wrote. I think this one
First song I ever
and-
played bass on.
and Panic. This one and Panic were like two of the first
Yeah.
songs we ever wrote together. This one, shit, took many forms over the years. The original, I would say, the majority of the structure is the original structure of the song. The only thing
Yep.
that has really changed over
The
the
middle
years
section.
are the drums, bass, which drive the song, and the middle section has taken a number of forms over the years until we came across what we hear on the album. This one, I want to say when I first presented it, it was an acoustic piece, just me on an acoustic guitar, and it
12
was
string too. It was on a 12
yeah, it was
string.
on a 12 string, and it was called The One, and it was written about fucking Jennifer. But that
Wait, was it written about that or was it written about Jennifer?
so I mean, it was written to Jennifer at the time.
Oh, but it wasn't about fucking Jennifer.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
about fucking Jennifer. It was
Got
about
it. Sorry, we need to get it clear. We don't want to.
loving Jennifer. But
Got
then it became something else. When it became Hand of Death, and that's
Oh,
where it
that's right.
stayed for quite a while.
Until
Actually,
we changed it to Chaos Fading.
Hand of Death was actually like this ghost story I wrote for the lyrics, which was, like this ghost singing to the other party who didn't go in the car with them and said, "We could have died together, but you couldn't wait. So I'm
Mhm.
haunting you forever." Kind of fucked up love story, but whatever. And then many, many, many years later, the with the previous incarnation of Fading Chaos, it became Chaos Fading, where you hear the basic structure of what's there right now.
Yep. Well, we kind of bulked it
lyrically-
up and added more layers to it.
Yeah, lyrically, it didn't come together to anything until probably 2021, 2022.
Mhm.
seed planted in my head about, unrequited love. Um, just it was a cool idea. And, so each verse kind of deals with like the first verse, I mean, as you can see in the lyric video, it's
Yeah.
I, the second verse is you, and the third verse is we coming together, you know. So it's kind of like a journey, like, hey, come on, like I know it's right, you should see it's right. We both know it's right, so let's just fucking do it. So that's where Unrequited came in, and it's probably, honestly, I think it's my favorite song on the album. Just how beautiful the music came together on it, and just how Dan crushed the fucking vocals on everything on this album.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, what's really interesting about Unrequited is when I was doing the guitar, I wasn't doing it to, I don't want to say your standards, but your vision, I guess would be a better way to put it.
yeah,
So when
like
you ended up,
I couldn't even do it to my vision when we were originally doing the guitar, and then
no, I meant for the recording.
well, as
so-
I'm saying, I couldn't even do
Yeah.
it. That's why I passed it off to you, and then like I'm not hearing it from you, and then we
But
came.
you know what? All it needed, you said this is good enough, and you sent it to me, and I added an acoustic guitar over it, which you didn't want initially.
But we got to get to that point first, because remember,
Yeah.
we were going back and forth. We shelved it, and then we went to like go work on Unrequited again, and found that the whole file we had everywhere we saved it was just corrupt as shit.
I
and we had to
forgot about that. Yeah.
rebuild it from scratch, because the strings and piano that were
Yep, yep.
originally on it were much different than what you hear on the actual album.
Yeah, I forgot
So
about that.
it was kind of a happy accident for it to become what it became.
hmm
So,
But adding that acoustic guitar layer
yeah,
to it,
like,
is-
there's just like,
you
if you
don't
really,
even hear it, but you notice it when it's gone.
yeah. So if you really sit and listen to it, get a pair of headphones on, just listen to all the layers. There's piano, there's acoustic guitar, there's electric clean guitars, there's the bass, strings, woodwinds. I mean, it is layered so beautifully, and the way our producer Adam like mixed and mastered everything on this album, like he did a phenomenal job.
Flawless.
You know,
Absolutely.
I couldn't be
flawless.
happier with how everything came out.
Yeah, it's great. So it's a good song. It was one of, I remember I did a bunch of experiments for the solo. The one that I think sounded the best obviously made the cut, but there was one where somehow some type of reverse effect went on it, and it sounded really, really, really good. But once I did this solo, I realized this was the
Yeah,
solo.
this
that it
one,
needed.
like when we heard this one, we're both like, that's the one. It's not
Yeah,
flashy. It's a very, but it tells a journey, and that's what I love
Mhm.
about it. It is like, it's not a flashy solo.
I did a good job. And
But
what's so funny is that
it's very
the ending-
emotive, and it's like very, like it just tells it tells a story. It continues what the voice is saying, in a sense.
Yeah.
And the ending, yes, the ending of that solo, I fucking hated, and Sean convinced me otherwise. And then when I heard it all together, I was like, okay, you're right.
I did a good job. Yeah, it needed it. It needed that. It had to be there. Had to be the build up right into it.
And it's
So
it's
I-
probably one of my favorite solos on the album, if not my favorite solo.
mm.
Stars misalign, causing the earth to break. The choices of one can affect other fates. Only three truths that rise and set at the sun. Dusk is approaching the dawn.
All right.
The next one is the only song on the album that I really didn't work on.
And
at
then
all.
there was one.
And then there was one, yes.
Yeah, I think I did just about everything on here. Of
I
course,
really think it's the only one that I didn't have a hand on it at all.
No, I ran some ideas by you for it, like the middle.
Oh yeah. But
So
musically I didn't.
you had a hand in it in a sense, but I think I played everything on this one.
Yeah.
But it was that middle section, like, do we need a solo?
And I was the one that said
stuff.
you wanted me to do a solo, and I said there's no reason to have one.
Yeah,
It works without one.
so we
And
ended up having
sometimes
that
you got to
middle-
know with less is more.
Yeah,
in
with that, so
some
it's like,
cases.
so it's got that jam section with the keyboard, like buried in the background doing its thing, and then it builds back up to the final chorus. But yeah,
The
this
whole
one,
buildup, it's like you add a solo there, you ruin the buildup when a solo's there, and that's exactly why I didn't think it needed to go there.
Just needed the concession, and I gave in. That's fine. We
Yeah,
won, and it sounds fantastic. So this
I'm
one,
someone with ideas.
I know that's why we're a team. So yeah, this one I pretty much recorded myself for the most part. And it came out pretty fucking good. It fits the album very well. Lyrically, I mean, the song has been titled, and then there was one since I
Hmm.
would say 2004, 2005, because that's where we pulled a lot of this old material from.
Yeah.
And this one really has not changed. Like if I go back and pull up one of the original demos, it's the same song. The only thing that's changed a bit is the drums and the addition of some keyboard layers and whatnot. Lyrically, a lot of the verses are kind of like they were updated. I mean, a lot of the lyrics I wrote originally back then made the cut for this song, and I just kind of reworded a few things a different way, and brought it up to like 2024 standards, and
Hmm.
using proper lyric writing that I have kind of fine tuned over the years to make it a little more metaphorical. But this one is kind of like a little bit more about like, why the fuck do I even care anymore? Like, I don't need anyone around, because every time I get close to somebody, uh, whatever they do ends up fucking me over in some way.
Hmm.
It's kind of like you don't think about how your actions are affecting others, and I'm that other that's getting fucked around. Uh, kind of, yeah, like that bitterness, like, hey, like, it's fine, like, I know you got to do what you got to do, but like, did you not think how that affects other people? So it kind of fit the theme of the album quite well. And I think well, I know for a fact that, speaking with Dan, this is probably his favorite choruses that he enjoyed doing, just the way they overlap, and then how he did the harmonies, and then the final chorus where the first verse is kind of sung softly under the last refrain of the chorus. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Seeds planted despair, no saplings to breathe new air. I never even knew her, never even knew her, no names.
Now, Apparition.
Apparition. This one was Sean's baby.
So it's really funny because Eric knows how the riff came about. I don't know if he remembers, but he was there when the riff came about. We were in the studio, and there was something weird happening with the tuning of my guitar, and I was trying to figure out where the problem was. So I did ding, 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 and our drummer Kevin said, "Do that again." And then it turned into what you hear now. It just slowly turned into that. I did a good job.
Yeah, and the bass, bass was kind of like, for the verses at least, mirrored the guitar a little bit, with a little extra tail while the guitar was
Mhm.
was sustaining. The bass did a little something extra just to keep things pumping along with the drums.
But it's so funny to think about, like when we initially did it, it was obviously just me on guitar, it was Eric on bass and drums.
Yes.
But what's funny is we were like, wow, that sounds really good. And then when we went to record it, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds really thin. So we
Oh
ended
yeah.
up
So
adding,
like we had to like
layer
when you
it.
hear hear some of the old live recordings. I think there's actually a couple up on our channel here if you want to check
Yeah,
them
yeah.
out. Like you can hear how it, like, live set in a live setting, it actually sounds like it's like a song. But when you heard the recording where it was just bass, drums, guitar, it sounded so thin. So we ended up having to layer some new guitars in there and, you know,
right,
double
right
certain
off the top of my
things.
head,
And then,
some stuff that
you know,
worked.
like, and then like, whereas like the chorus sections, like the bass and drums, the drums are definitely on an off beat, which is, no, the hi-hats are hitting on 2 and 4 instead of, 1 and 3 like they should. And the bass is just kind of sitting back there like a heartbeat, like the doo 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 doo. So it's kind of pumping the song along, and that's because the guitar is pretty, you know, stationary throughout the song. It's a pretty, you know, there's not much dynamic there, but the guitar is singing and giving, you know, some of the peaks and valleys, but it's really the bass and the drums that really push this thing along.
Definitely.
Originally, Sean had written lyrics for this way back when he wrote this song. Uh, we had 2 different. We had what it was. We called it "In Time" at one point.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Then it was the Stoner song.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
That's because I
there,
used all those effects.
yeah, and then there was lyrics about a friend of yours that passed.
No, that's actually no, that
I was that
can't
was I have it's on the YouTube where John's singing, "I can't believe it, you're suddenly gone."
Did we do that one? Because I know
Yeah,
Darkness was written about the friend.
yeah.
Maybe I did 2 of them. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
remember.
we chose Darkness to be Darkness, and then we chose this one. Pandora, do not while I am on this. That's staying in the cut. She's about to do something bad on my floor while I'm trying to do this talk.
Only I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, so that was, you know, another version of this. And then when we were actually putting this song together for the album, we're like I had lyrics written for this one before we even started recording, because like I had the old live recordings we did.
Yep.
And like I heard something completely different one day, and what you hear on the album is what, you know,
Sounds so much better.
like it sounds so good. And I guess lyrically, this song became, as you can tell by the title, if it's not obvious enough, you know, Quiet as Head, Chasing Ghosts. This one has Apparition. This is in essence Chasing Ghost Part 2, chasing a different kind of ghost this time. Like the ghost is, you know, yet another metaphor. Like the first one was a metaphor about my MS. This one is, so the chorus, seeds planted despair, no saplings to breathe new air. She never even knew my name. That she that I'm talking about isn't a person in sense. It's happiness. Happiness would be the ghost that I was chasing in this song lyrically. Because I never knew that happiness, and the happiness never knew me. It was a cool way of saying it and making it mysterious.
As she heals and moves on, depends a final song with
Darkness.
Darkness.
Another one, believe it or not, this song, I was going back, and this song actually predates most of the songs we have written.
Really?
This song I wrote probably back in 2001 when I first started playing guitar. It grew from an acoustic guitar from my old Yamaha that I used to play, and I would just play an acoustic version of it on a 6-string standard tuning. Then I wrote it down on tabs, and then every now and then I'd come up and add another part to it. And then when we started the original rendition of Fading Chaos back in 2009, 2010? Or no, it was 2012, never mind.
Well, I mean, I consider what we did back in the Drader days.
Yeah, but I'm talking about with Kevin and all them in it.
That would be the last iteration of Fading Chaos.
Yeah, the last one. then I brought it to the table. This time, instead of doing a acoustic version, I did as I started getting into 7 strings. I just brought it up to, I brought it down, I should say, to an A standard tuning. Give it a little bit of bass to it. And I just don't know where it came from. It was one of the first songs I wrote, and it was completely in a weirdest time signature. That
Yeah, I
jumps all
know.
over the place.
I'm the one that had to deal with all the drums and the bass on it, where it goes from, I believe it starts in 4/4, and then it goes to like a bar of 2/4, and then it goes into 7/8, and then it goes back to 4/4, and then it goes to like 7/8 again, and then it goes to like 15/16 in the choruses, because you'll notice there's that missing 16th hit in the choruses, so it's just a little jarring. It just jumps time signatures every time we change what we're doing, and it wasn't intended like that. It just happened when I brought in, you know, the bass line that I was playing for it. It just fit, and then trying to actually like notate it so we could play to a click, it was like, this is all over the damn place.
Yeah. And it really doesn't sound like it is. That's the funniest part. But
So
when you
we
put it
ended
down
up
on sheet music, you look at it, you're like, what?
we ended up not playing this one to a click, because trying to play it to a click was just
Damn near
not
impossible.
happening. We just
I
had
had to do it to memory.
we had to do it off a feel, so it sounded right to us. And I actually have the original lyrics. I have a sheet of the original lyrics somewhere in that closet right there that Sean wrote when this song was called "Strong" or "Stronger."
Stronger. Yeah.
Darkness. A lot of people have told me, including Sean here, that this one is our Unforgiven. Speaking in that third person, and it's basically a story about darkness after a breakup, and like, here's how the chick is moving on, and the dude is sitting there wallowing, and like I lost the love of my life. I want to fucking die.
That song is on the next album.
We all, yeah. I want to die might makes the next album. There is a song called "I Want to Die," and it was written on the boat as a joke many years ago when I was still in the Navy. And it was like a minute and a half punk song that just, like the riff would play, and then my buddy Shane would jump in and say, "I want to die." It just happened. Like I was sitting there playing around with it on the ship, and Shane just looks over at me when there was a pause between the riff, and he goes, "I want to die," and I'm like, "That's the name of the
That's the name of the song,
and that's where it's been the whole time." All right. So
Catharsis.
Catharsis, the piece that became the instrumental again. And much like End of a Dream off of Quietus, this one also started as a acoustic guitar piece, and it was literally in work for 6 or 7 years, where I kept adding pieces, trying to resolve this cool riff that I had on the acoustic, because it was
and then, much like End of a Dream, we got too much layers and had to start over.
Yeah, so it turned into this thing you hear there. Just this journey of healing, in a sense, after you're, coming out of the darkness, finding, like, oh, I found the light.
Which is why it's after the song Darkness.
Leaving the darkness. Yes, every song has a deliberate place on this album. It was very carefully thought out. But in essence, this one, just a straightforward instrumental journey. pieces just written over the years that finally came together, and then trying to record it as an acoustic piece turned into, hey, let's add this layer, let's add this layer, let's add leads here, let's do this, let's do drums, let's, you know. And then listening to it, it was just so busy. There was really no place for vocals to sit, so it became the instrumental.
Freedom, can't find it here. Open doors of my fear. Days pass, repeating songs, but here I don't belong.
And then what happens after you come out of darkness? You go into,
You find your
Freedom.
freedom.
yes.
So
That's,
freedom.
this is a fun story.
I'll let you tell this one.
Yeah, so this is another one that I brought to the table. It was written 2007 in that area. There was an original version of the song called Trapped. The riff was very different. The only thing that really stayed the same was the timing and the intro. It's the only part that really stayed the
Yeah.
same. Then we had another guitar player that kind of, we worked it together. He didn't want us to use that same riff, so I wrote the version of this one, basically from scratch. Literally, the only thing that stayed the same was the first notes of the first part of the riff and the first notes of the chorus and verses. That way the bass can just be slightly adjusted instead of rewriting a full new bass line. Added it's a little more technical than the original one. Well, a lot more technical than the original one, because I still have trouble playing some of that I did a good job.
Yeah, while the
So-
bass is doing something completely opposite
And-
what you're doing. So it
Yeah, and then
make it a lot more difficult to play both pieces. It's just like, oh, okay, so we gotta keep kind of with the drums, but at the same time, I'm not really following the drums on the bass, and Sean's not really following anything on the guitar. But it all came together so beautifully. And at one point, we wanted to throw this song in the trash because it was too long. It was so overplayed by us practicing, and we were all getting sick of it. But
and all we did was take one verse out, and it was
yeah,
better.
taking a verse out and shortening the length that the chorus is a little bit, you hear this punchy, fantastic number that a lot of people are calling their favorite song off this album. I don't agree. I think it's up there. But honestly, I still think Unrequited is my favorite. Freedom would be a very close second, just because, like, and it's amazing that I say that, because I used to hate the song just as much as everyone else.
Freedom would be number
It-
3 for me.
I think it really came down to what Dan did with the vocals.
Yeah,
You know, I gave him the idea and the melody, and him bringing it to life, and those screams he's doing on the choruses were just out of this world fantastic, and
yeah, it was great.
couldn't be
Fantastic.
happier with the results there.
Still like how you managed to somehow put the original song title in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, freedom, like the idea of freedom, you know, kind of worked for you know, this journey of the 75 Days album. And really, the song is about, you know, longing, yearning for that freedom. Like, where do I find this after you're coming out of that darkness? You know, you still have some of that with you, and you're like, how do you free me from this? Like, help me find my freedom. You know,
Now that I have it, I'm not even giving it up.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this song definitely came back from near death into this fantastic piece on this album. It's definitely a banger in my eyes. So
Yeah.
it'll be really fun to play live.
Isolation, solitude, a prison made for me by me. There's safety in this loneliness, and she won't let you leave.
Now, the next song is one of my favorite riffs that I ever wrote.
Save
And
me.
it is literally not only one of my favorite riffs that I wrote, but it's about from what I understand, the lyrics are about one of my all-time favorite movies of all time.
It was just a happy accident. So we'll talk about the lyrics before we dive into the music on this one.
Yeah.
But Save Me, I don't want to give it away yet. I'm gonna give you guys time to figure this out.
It's a cult classic. Most people probably don't even know the movie exists.
Lyrically, I mean, it's about like, hey, someone like save me. Like here, like okay, so I got my freedom, and they're going to save me. And lyrically, it's like, okay, I made this decision. I'm going on this journey. Shit, did I make a bad choice? Like somebody saved me from this decision I made, and you know, like shit, did I like? Is this hell? No, hell. You know, hell's only a word. The reality is a whole lot worse. Now, I will tell you guys, since you know, like, there's a couple of things in the lyrics of the song to give it away. Liberate me, and you know, a lot of the chorus. You know, where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
Yeah.
Figured it out yet? It's Event Horizon. Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill classic, 1997 sci-fi horror. If you haven't watched it, go fucking watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
But I happened
know
to be
someone-
watching the fucking movie while I was like trying to write lyrics for this. And I was like, you know what? Like I could tell the story of the Event Horizon in a certain way, but also get my point of like, I made this decision and I'm going on this bad journey. You know, so it kind of plays hand in hand. It's got multiple meanings depending on how you listen to it.
It's a great one. And now the song I wrote, I was trying. It's done on an 8-string, which we had a few more 8-string songs in the last album. This album kind of didn't call for it. We did have some 7-string songs on it, but this one is the only 8-string song or 8-string guitar that's done on the album. I was trying to do a little bit more in writing, trying to just really learn how to write on an 8-string, and I learned something about someone in my family that was accused of bad things, and it was being shoved under the rug, which this is someone that don't really like, you know. And it just kind of pissed me off, and then I just put it into a song. I did a good job, or I put it into lyrics, and you know,
Yeah,
just
look, I remember the first draft of this song you sent me. Shit, it was probably sitting at like 14, 15 minutes, something like that.
yeah,
I was like, okay, there's some like real gold in here. We need to slim this down into something like we can actually like manage and like turn into a real song. So Sean provided all the bare materials. I sat here
Constructed
listening to this song over and over and over and over again until we finally came to the version we have here, where it is slimmed down quite a bit. And then Sean did all the keyboard stuff on this one. I threw in a couple of extra little keyboard pops, mainly during the bridge to the chorus, and then I did the leads over the bridge between the verses, and I did the guitar solo, which is my favorite guitar solo that I played on this album. Out of the two, three.
yeah. I think I
Four.
did the majority of the solos on
I
this
think
album.
I think I did.
I didn't even realize that.
I think I did 4 songs on this album. You did all the rest.
I did a good job.
I did Life, I did Catharsis, I did Save Me, and I did The Last Mile.
Yep. Which is
if I
the next
remember
song.
correctly.
Believe it or not, it's the next song.
Yeah, The Last Mile. This one, yet another really cool instrumental. This time was kind of a three-way project. Our first co-writing credit outside of the normal band with a good friend of ours, Jared Placencia of Sleep Like Suicide. He's been a good friend of mine for many years, and you know, me and him had always talked about jamming on some stuff, and me and him kind of tooled this together a couple of years back. And like when we were putting demos together for this album, I was like, hey dude, like I called him up, I was like, hey dude, like, do you mind if we use this piece that you wrote with us for the album? And he was like, hell yeah, put it out there. So it's a very good bridge, you know, from getting that you know, finding that help with Save Me, you know, the last mile of this journey leading to 75 days.
Yeah. 75 days. Funny song. What I think is the most amazing about this song is the emotions from both sides. So I wrote this song the day I was let go from a job that I had for many years. I did a good job. I came home, wrote this. And then Eric wrote the lyrics about
Well, let's wait on that. We were trying to figure out a title for it so I could start
that's
kind of
right.
brainstorming, because I was like, I hear a lot of different ways this thing can go.
Forgot about that
lyrically.
part.
So we were sitting there hashing out, you know, like, okay, here's what we have lyrically for the album so far. Here's the 3 or 4 songs we don't have titles for. And this one, you know, like you could hear the heavy Rush influence on here. Like there is so much Rush influence on this one. Like it sounds like a Rush song if you strip it back. But we're sitting there hashing it back and forth, and then literally I'm sitting in this room talking to Sean as we are now, and
That's me. I did a good job.
that's that guy.
That's
And
me.
he said, hey, wait a minute, what day was your divorce finalized? And I said October 17th. He came back a couple minutes later, 75 days.
I did a good job.
So 75 days just is the roundabout way of saying October 17th, the day my divorce was final and that part of my life was officially over finally. So 75 days just means, you know, you count 75 days from October 17th and you're at a new year.
Yeah.
So
New year, new you.
it's just a roundabout way of saying October 17th. And lyrically, it deals with a lot of closing that chapter and like, you know, you couldn't be what I wanted anymore. You couldn't be what I need anymore. You know, and it can be taken from both sides. And if you watch the music video, it's pretty evident, you know. And by the way, we filmed that music video and edited it all ourselves.
Yeah.
And it came out fantastic. And it's our highest watched YouTube video to date with like 185,000 views. So let's pump that up, people. Come on, watch it more.
Over and over.
Help us get monetized.
Yes, we need the monies.
We need to buy Sean cheeseburgers and me MS stuff and hair.
Hair club for men.
I should just wear a wig.
You know what's gonna happen? People are gonna see this and just send you wigs.
That'd be fucking hilarious. Uh, yes, and stay tuned. We will have new music videos coming over the next little bit to keep promoting this album, and we've already started the process of working on album 3, slowly writing the ideas, getting vocals together, lyric ideas, starting to piece. I think we have 4 or 5 songs that are skeletoned out, ready to go, and already have an album title, which I'm not going to reveal just yet, but we do have a bunch of song titles that are very cool. And I will
74 days.
74 days. I will actually give out a few of those titles right now because there is an instrumental that's already written and recorded that used to be called, for those of us who knew us way back in the day, it used to be called Bite My Nuts.
Oh, yes.
It is now known as Terminal Lucidity, or in other words, a death rally. So there's one. We've got another song title, which is almost done, and I've actually got most of that one recorded already myself, called Strangers Again, which is, another song about
When you think you know someone, but you don't.
or just another song about loss in a way.
Mhm.
There's another one. Here's another title, 1914. It's kind of a metaphorical title. Also very cool. Rise and Fall. The Lament Configuration, which for horror fans out there, for your horror fans out there, it's going to be another dual meaning song, kind of like Save Me was. And we'll see, we have Beyond the Curtain, The Trial of April 1686, and the other title I will give out, which is my favorite song title so far. It's called They Can't Get You While You Sleep.
Yeah, that scares the shit out of me.
It does. It's a fucking creepy ass title, but it's wait till you hear what that one's going to be about. And I guess, you know what? Fuck it. I'll come out and say it. The third album as of right now, and I think it's probably going to stick. The third album's title is Mors Mea. It's another Latin term, which means my death. So it will conclude this trilogy of albums here.
Yours or mine?
Well, I mean, lyrically, it's coming from my standpoint in a sense. So it's the completion of this trilogy we set out to do. So consider it.
Are we gonna do prequels?
Huh?
Are we gonna do prequels?
We could, or we could just start a new idea after this one.
But
really, this one will conclude the 3-album arc that we started back with Quietus in 2022, and hopefully this one won't take another 2 years to get out.
Everything was just slow and crazy.
We'll see. I mean, we've already got a lot.
No, I think we're both in a good place now where we're able to do it. You got all your stuff set up. You're not running all over the place. So
absolutely. So it's just a matter of let's see what kind of traction we can generate here with 75 days, and then hopefully album 3 will show the light of day. Maybe this time, maybe the end of next year. I'm thinking, give us some time to get out and actually, promote 75 days and play some shows and, actually bring our music to the masses again. Which
exactly.
So
perfect.
You got the inside scoop on album 3 if you've watched this long, and stay tuned for more, people, and we will definitely be posting more stuff and hope you are enjoying 75 days as much as we are. We are so proud of this album. It is beyond our wildest dreams how fantastic this came out.
I did a good job.